So today's video is me giving you 5 things which we learned from the game against Blackburn. We lost 1-0 at home. The performance was poor again from these group of players. We didn't look like we could score a goal. In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 things which I felt we learnt from the game. But before I do, can we please smash the like button and also drop a comment on what you learnt from the game. The more likes, the more comments, the video performs better on YouTube, helps the channel grow. So please drop me a like, drop me a comment down below. So the first thing which we learnt from the game, and I have to say as well, I do think Matt Bloomfield got 1 or 2 things wrong against Blackburn in terms of starting 11 and also the subs. I do think starting Chong and Morris was the wrong decision, and I also believe the subs throughout the game was also wrong. I do think at half-time we should have made a change. I do think Chong should have came off. He was non-existent in that first half. He's been non-existent, in fact, since he's returned back from injury. He was poor against Stoke and now poor against Blackburn. So I would have made a change at half-time. I would have brought on Nordas alongside with Morris. I would have done at least something because we definitely didn't look great in that first half. Very slow tempo throughout the whole of the first 45 minutes. Now, once Blackburn scored their goal, we made 3 changes, and I don't understand the logic in putting on 2 centre-backs on. I don't understand why Reece Burke came on, and I don't understand why Teden Mengi came on. I understood Bowler because he is an attacking player, so that did make sense, but not Reece Burke for Isaiah Jones and not Makosso as well. I don't know if we're protecting Makosso because we did the exact same against Stoke, but Reece Burke playing as the right wing back, he didn't look comfortable in that position. He couldn't get the ball out of his feet quick enough, and also the deliveries into the box were also not good. Teden Mengi, he couldn't even clear the ball onto the pitch. It kept going out. We kept gifting the ball back to Blackburn. So yeah, not the best subs, I have to admit, after we conceded the goal. And then Blackburn went down to 10 men, and at that point we should have brought on Nordas. When you're up against 10 players, you need to at least put on 2 strikers on, I feel like, in a game of football. So Nordas should have came on at that given point, but he didn't. He came on 10 minutes later. Frustrating. Bit annoying that it took 10 minutes for us to do that. And then the last sub, Zach Nelson, he had 0 impact. He played for 15 minutes. I don't want to be too harsh on him because he's a young lad, but he made no touches. He didn't touch the ball at all throughout those 15 minutes. So really, really poor subs. I definitely would have changed 1 or 2 things. I wouldn't have put those 2 centre-backs on when we went 1-0 down. I definitely would have changed the formation at some point in the game. I would have actually taken off a centre-back to go a little bit more attacking, because that's what you've got to do when you're 1-0 down. You don't take off your attacking players. You kind of need to put more attacking players on. Of course, take off the attacking player if they're not doing well and performing very badly. But we had limited attacking players on the bench, and we put on 2 centre-backs. I couldn't get my head around that. At least Cal Naismith, although he is a centre-back, at least he's a more attacking centre-back, if that makes sense. He's more comfortable with the ball compared to the others. So yeah, I was quite frustrated with the subs throughout the game. The second thing which I believe we learned from the game is Morris, yet again, poor performance, not shooting at goal, not the first time this season. He's not testing the goalkeeper. His passing was really bad. Movement was very slow, back towards goal all the time, never playing on the half turn. Lost quite a lot of aerial battles, which is a bit strange because he normally wins quite a lot. And I do believe in our next game, Nordas deserves to start. I can't see us solving the problems in front of goal if Morris and Chong are going to keep starting up top. We need to make a change, otherwise we're not going to score goals. The third thing which we learned from the game is lack of movement with and without the ball. And I want to reference the Blackburn goal. The 3 attackers and the number 10 for Blackburn, the Japanese striker as well. Constant movement. They all didn't stay in their positions. They were constantly moving from left to right, in the middle, drifting out wide. It was great movement at times, with and without the ball. And maybe we should learn a thing or 2 from that. The goal which Blackburn scored was pass and move. And I can't remember a goal like that which Luton have scored in the past. We must have to go back a couple of seasons to find a similar goal. Maybe back in League One under Nathan Jones, when we were passing and moving with the fullbacks, for example. But that goal which Blackburn scored against us, we don't score goals like that. And it's a problem because we don't show any movement. And then when you're playing against a team that has 10 players, you've got to move the ball quickly. Yes, space is very limited because Blackburn are putting players behind the ball. And yes, we've got a tight pitch. But you've got to create that space. You've got to show a bit of movement. You've got to show a little bit of quality. Got to have some one-on-one battles. Use the half space at times. And we just didn't really do that. It was slow. Blackburn found it really easy to defend against us. Predictable. Far too predictable. The tempo of the game from minute 1 was just not good enough. Yes, we upped it in the second half, but I only think we upped it because we went 1-0 down. That first half was terrible. The tempo of the game, I was yawning throughout that first half. So slow. Moving on to my 4th point for today's video, and that is Chong. I don't really want to see him again in a Luton shirt. Up top alongside Morris didn't work against Stoke, and it definitely didn't work against Blackburn. He only touched the ball 12 times. He touched the ball once in the first 20 minutes. How is that acceptable? If he does start against Derby, I want to know how bad the likes of Nordas, Zach Nelson, Bowler are in training, because no way should Chong be starting the next game. That is not acceptable. 12 times touched the ball in, 55 minutes. Not good enough. Bowler, Tenamengi, Burke and our goalkeeper touched the ball more than him. That's ridiculous. Zach Nelson, I've already mentioned it, is the only player not to touch the ball in the game. And then second is Chong. It's mental. He's not good enough. And he's only created 19 chances this season. And the last point which I wanted to make is about the formation. Now, I was vocal about this in my match preview, and I said again in my match reaction, I feel like we do need to change the formation because we're not scoring goals. And if we don't start scoring goals, then we're not going to win games of football. We're playing with Morris and Chong up top. That doesn't scream goals to me. So we need to change something. And I would change the formation, and this is the formation I would change to. I do believe we can play 4 at the back. This squad is more than capable of doing it. I just don't understand how these group of players can't play multiple systems. Now, the previous formation, the current formation which we are playing requires a left wing back, which we don't have in Alfie Doughty. He's out for the rest of the season. And he's absolutely key for this formation to work. So if we don't have him, we don't have 2 of our strikers in Brown and Adebayo. So we might as well change the system to, suit the players which we've currently got available. And we can push the likes of Ali further forward. Amari Bell can play as the left back. Isaiah Jones can play right back, no problem. We can still play the midfield 3 of Clark, Walsh and Asgard. Nordas can start up top on his own. I play Bowler on the left-hand side because he's left-footed. I play Ali on the right-hand side because he is right-footed. And give that a go. I don't see why not. And then we've still got options on the bench then. If Nordas isn't playing well, you can bring on Morris. If, Bowler or Ali's not playing well, then you bring on Chong, Victor Moses, Zach Nelson. You can make changes. We've got to change something because if we carry on the way we're going, I don't see how we're going to win games of football. I know previous to Blackburn we were picking up points, but we're missing players now. We've had a couple of injuries which impact the way we like to play. So I do think we need to change something. So that is the end of today's video. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please smash the like button on today's video and also drop a comment like I said at the start of the video. Don't forget to follow me across all my social media. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are new, and I'll see you guys in my next video.